Hello, my name is Teresa Daneman. Um, I have decided to go on Facebook to tell a story because nobody out there will listen. Nobody will pay attention to what really happened the night of August 12th, 2015. My son will be going on trial for murder June 6th through the 16th of this year. Um, we've never been able to tell our side of the story at all. Every time we try to talk about it, they threaten to throw my son in jail. Um, I'm sick of it. We have tried everything, but when the Pipestone County Sheriff's involved, along with Vandyke, sanitation, bigwigs in the city of Edgerton, little people like us just don't get anywhere. So I'm going to fight them this way. I want it out there. I want everybody to know the truth. My son has a lie detector's test to tell the truth. Um, on the night of August 12th, 2015, um, my daughter-in-law had went over to Edgerton to pick up a paycheck that my son had worked for Vandyke Sanitation in Edgerton for a while. And anyway, after working for him, he found out they were kind of crooked and got out of it right away. They worked for Pipestone County Sheriff. They'd go through people's garbage looking for if this person was on drugs, which is kind of a good thing, but I'm just saying they work for the Sheriff's Department. And I think that's the reason my son got treated the way he did, and they discriminated against him. Jamie worked for him for a while. That's my son, Jamie Daneman. Um, he worked for him for a while and then left the company. Well, at the time on August 12th, they had owed him some money. Well, my daughter in law went over first to get the check. When they got over there, she was told by Jamie Vandyke that if my son wanted the money, he had to come and get it himself. Um, so my daughter in law called my son, who was driving truck out of Brookings at the time, and my son decided to drive over there and get the check. Anyway, when he got over to Edgerton, I don't know the whole story. I guess I was not there, but I'm going to tell it. It ended up a fight pursued. There were three of the Van Dyke owners: Norm Van Dyke, Stefan Van Dyke, Jamie Van Dyke, and Steve Meyer, an employee who worked for Van Dyke's. A fight ensued. Those four against my son, one kid. Anyway, they ganged up on him when he got there. He went to get his check. Steve Meyer hit my son first. He's the employee that worked for Van Dyke's. He was drunk, very drunk. Anyway, my son, in trying to defend himself, because all four of these guys were there, two of them, Stefan Van Dyke and Jamie Van Dyke, and Steve Meyer were the ones. The dad, Norm Van Dyke, was just drunk, watching. But anyway, um, they ganged up on my son. My son took one hit to defend himself. Steve Meyer fell down to the ground. And at that time, Jamie and Stefan Van Dyke started beating my son more. He had bruises under his arms from trying to protect himself like this. He had bruises here and here. He had a concussion. He had a black eye and everything. Well, thank God a lady came by and saw the fight and yelled. Nobody checked on Steve Meyer on the ground. Um, a lady came by and yelled, and she called the cops. An ambulance came. Steve was laying on the ground. He was unresponsive. Um, my son actually, at that time, the other ones left my son and told my son to leave, which my son wasn't going to leave. Went to check on Dick because him and Dick were actually friends when they worked together. He never would have thought Steve. Dick is Steve because that's what they called him. Never would have thought Steve would have ever hit him. So we don't know if the Vandykes paid him or if he, what he was doing, but he came up and hit my son first. Well, anyway, my son felt bad and was checking on Dick, and an ambulance came, and anyway, somehow through the, after the ambulance haul and stuff, he was hauled off to the hospital. Then the cops show up. And because of the incident with Dick, or Steve Meyer, the cops were questioning my son and the other ones. And, it's normal. But I think the normal thing would have been he should have arrested everybody there that night, hauled them in, and then sorted it out. But you know what? Because they work for the sheriff's department, my son was the one that was arrested that night. He was arrested and hauled off to jail. He did not go looking for a fight there. They had it set up. We even have people that are going to testify in court. So I'm not going to put that on here. But anyway, I just want to see if there's somebody out there that can help us fight this. They hauled my son to jail, not to a hospital. He had a concussion, we found out 2 or 3 days later when he got out. Severe bruises, a black eye. They had no bruises on their bodies at all. None. Because my son the only person he hit back was Steve after Steve hit him. And then the rest of them were just jumping on him, pounding on him, beating him up. And then they hauled him off to jail instead of the hospital. He sat in jail for, I think, two or 3 days. I think till Friday. Maybe it was Monday. I don't remember. I know it was the longest time ever. But anyway, just to go get your paycheck. And the sheriff's department, I just can't believe a sheriff's department could be so crooked. There's no reason. And then, just because the Vandykes work for him, that's the only reason. But we have tried everything. I've called the FBI. I've called everybody. All it was self-defense. There was no way he could get away from them. I just can't believe it's gone this far. I'm so worried about the trial with the injustice of the sheriff's department in Pipestone. I just want it out there. I want people to know what really happened that night. We have a lie detector test to prove it. They've tried to make plea agreements. Oh, the court system. The court system does not work either. They've tried to make plea agreements with my son. Oh, just plead guilty to manslaughter, to murder. And we'll drop it to first-degree assault. Whatever. And he said, okay, yeah, I'll plead guilty to first-degree assault. All you've got to do is charge the rest of them with first-degree assault. They won't do anything. Don't tell me that system isn't. It's so unjust. They're a bunch of crooks. Now we're trying to get some stuff into court, and they're trying to line up their court case, and I guess they don't want they said one thing that had to be thrown out of the court case was the allegiance or whatever it is that the sheriff's department and Vandykes work together. That can't be brought into court. Why not? No, they don't want people to know that it was the injustice system of the courts. I'm going to give you the names. I don't know the names of the sheriff. Well, I wrote the sheriff a letter, and I explained to him, I said, you did this all wrong. And I mean, I have a right of freedom of speech. That's what I'm using right now. And I wrote the sheriff a letter, and I explained to him, and I told him, you know what happened? The sheriff called the prosecuting attorney. The prosecuting attorney called our attorney. Our attorney called me and told me if I didn't shut up, that my son would be sitting in jail. Well, I'm sick of keeping my mouth shut. I'm not going to keep my mouth shut. I can't do that. If everybody else can talk, I have a right of freedom of speech too. And this is my right of freedom of speech. I'm fighting back. If anything happens to me or if I turn up dead, it's because the Pipestone County Sheriff or Vandyke's. And I want somebody out there knowing this, because I'm posting this on YouTube tonight. And if there's any attorneys that could help with this case, because I've seen attorneys get even crooked people off, people that have broke the law. But I'm really worried the way things are going with my son right now. He has done nothing wrong but show up to get his check that night. It could have happened to anyone. And he was jumped by 4 thugs. And I'm not putting up with it anymore. I've suffered for 2 years because of their mistakes, and I'm not going to suffer anymore. I'm putting it out there. It's Norm Vandyke, Stephen Vandyke, Jamie Vandyke, and the employee that worked for them that passed away is Steve Meyer. They caused this. They are the ones that killed their friend. And I just want the truth known. I'm sick of it. Come and arrest me, guys, because I've said it all. And you can throw my butt in jail if you want. I don't care. But I'm not covering up for anybody anymore. And they're not going to get away with it. I don't know what else to tell you, but I'm going to keep posting different stuff as the trial goes on. I'd love as many news cameras there as I can get. I want people to see what really happened that night. The reason we're going to trial and not taking a plea agreement is because the truth has to come out. It has to. And they've tried to make plea agreements because, of course, they want to shut us up. It's not happening. Jamie's going to go to trial. He's going to fight this. The truth is going to come out. But the main thing is, the truth that needs to come out is how the Pipestone County Sheriffs just took their word for it, didn't charge any one of them that night. Not any of them. 4 people against 1. My son had no chance of escape whatsoever. None. They were ganging up on him. And I can't, I don't know how else to fight this anymore. Thank you for all listening to me. And if anybody wants to get a hold of me, or anybody knows anything, or anybody can help, an attorney maybe, my phone number is 507-836-8475. Please give me a call if you can help, or if you can have a news camera there, if we can talk on television, national television. I just want it out there. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye.